Welcome to another episode of rawradianthealth.com, and I'm Natasha St. Michael, and thank you so much for joining me. So today's Monday, and today I'm going to talk about a question I got last week, and I really liked the question, and it was asking me what foods I would recommend for someone that is on a really tight budget, okay, and they're on a budget of about $20 to $30 a week for food. And they're also trying to reverse a health condition, and they're trying to get healthy, and they want to know what are the foods that are going to give them the most bang for their buck, okay? And I thought this was a great question, because normally when people are dealing with financial issues, and I've been there, okay? I've been there where I've had barely enough money for food, and at points no money for food. And unfortunately, when we're in those situations, I know for myself in the past, like, you know, the first thing we do is, if we're in a financial situation, is we cut the budget for the food, and the quality of the food goes down, okay? And I know, like, when I was younger, like, you know, I would have to live off of, like, ramen noodles and rice, and there's no nutrition in that, you know? It's just empty calories with no nutrition and full of MSG and just bad, you know? And it's like, how is that gonna help me to be healthy? How is that gonna help me to be able to function and make enough money so I can get out of that financial situation? It's not, you know? It's like, it's a vicious cycle, and it happens a lot where it's unfortunate because, you know, today a lot of times it's cheaper to eat at a fast food restaurant than it is to buy fresh produce at a grocery store. And so, but there are ways around it, and you have to look at it creatively, you know, and really, because when you look at it creatively, and you like this person came out and wrote me a letter, you know, it's like, you're already putting it out there that you're putting your health and yourself first, and already that's a great cause to change the situation around. So pretty much I have many suggestions, and the first thing that I suggest is looking around to see where you can get the food for free, okay? And it depends where you live. I know for me, like, I live up in Canada, it's a little bit more difficult to find free food that's growing off trees, but for some of you out there that are on a tight budget, you might be surrounded by fruit trees and coconuts and things that you can just grab for free, okay? So, and it's not only what's growing on the trees, but it's also what's growing on the ground. A lot of times you might be in an area where there's a lot of edible greens, wild edible greens that are growing, and all you need to do is familiarize yourself with the greens to know what can you eat, you know, and you can easily go to the library and get a book on this and figure it out, or even watch videos online. I mean, there's so much information out on wild food. And it's everywhere. I mean, it grows around you, and it's springtime, so things are starting to grow. So that's number one, how to find things for free. Number two is also where to get the deals. So scope out your local fruit and vegetable stores or grocery stores, things like that. And especially if it's a smaller store, like owned by a family, small business, a lot of times you can speak to the owner and see if, like, they can give you a good price on let's say fruits that are really ripe, okay, like bananas that are already brown that they can't really sell, and they'd rather get, you know, a little bit of money for it than having to throw it out. So that's something to do, is to really scope things out and speak to small business owners and even farmers as well. You might be in an area where you're surrounded by different farmers that might be able to give you a good deal if you buy things in certain quantity, things like that. So always be open to, you know, the possibility. Now, the next thing you can do too is growing sprouts. Sprouts are really cheap. The seeds are super cheap. You get alfalfa or clover or sunflower sprouts or whatever you can find. You're just getting these little seeds and you're sprouting them. And sprouts itself, I mean, they're more nutritious than most stuff that's in the grocery store. I mean, they're fresh, they're full of amino acids, they're super good for you, and have pure life force. So that's something, and they're the cheapest things out there if you're growing them yourself, okay? And you just need to get the seeds and some water and grow them. And there's plenty of videos online also showing you how to do it. I know I have one video showing you how to make sprouts with soil, and eventually I'll put together another video on how to do it with water, but you can look online and find that. So if you are going to the grocery store, what exactly are the foods that are going to be the healthiest to eat? And pretty much that's anything that's fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds, right? Now, there are a few things I'd suggest not even bothering with because that don't have much nutrition. There's no point in even spending your money on it, and that would be like white potatoes and iceberg lettuce, okay? Those two things, like, forget it. You know, pretty much the most nutritious food is always going to be, when it comes down to fruits and vegetables, are the most pigmented foods. Those are the most colorful, deep, colorful foods. And if you can get a good deal on getting like greens like kale and Swiss chard and collard greens and spinach, those deep dark greens, you know, that's going to be really, really good for your health, okay? And that's full of nutrition, more so than having something like iceberg lettuce, which is just pretty much water and fiber, okay? So you want to get things that are full of nutrition, and you want a variety as well, because this is something I see all the time, whether people have a lot of money or no money, is that most people end up eating the same 5 foods every single day in and day out, 5 foods. And it's not very healthy to always be eating the same food. So the good thing is that when you are on a budget and you have to see what are on special, go with that, because you're constantly rotating your food, which is a good thing, and you can be more creative. I also suggest too with nuts and seeds, because you do need some good healthy fats in your diet, is nuts are expensive. So I go more towards the seeds, and the 2 types of seeds that are relatively cheap are sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds. So go that way with getting just, you know, a little bit of those healthy fats in. And also, if someone's, you know, just starting out on eating healthy whole foods and they're cooking food, then I also suggest getting into buying big bags of dried legumes and beans and pulses. And so these are, you know, like chickpeas and lentils and navy beans and garbanzo beans and all that. Never buy it in the can. You always want to buy it when it's dried. And this is great for filling you up and really giving you that extra protein and different minerals and everything. And it's something that you can make, you know, like you can cook up a stew or a homemade soup, things like that. They'll really, really fill you up. And you're getting pure nutrition from that. And, you know, I'd rather people eating like the lentils and all that, rather than eating a food that's, you know, just buying a big bag of rice, you know, that has really nothing in it, you know. And the main thing is that a bag of lentils and a bag of rice are probably the same price, okay? So you always want to look at it that way, like what are the foods that are whole foods, they're not refined. Even when it comes down to buying rice, don't go with the white rice, you go with the brown rice, you go with whatever foods is a whole food, and, you know, play around with that. And my suggestion is to try and get as much fresh food in as possible, but also to get that added calories and stuff, you might want to go with, you know, a few beans here and there. So these are things you can try out and see. And just the main thing is that whatever you're buying, you know, just always, the priority is that it's a whole food and it's not been processed or refined in any way, okay? And therefore you are supporting your health. And the main thing is that what's most important at times like this is what's going on in your mind. The main thing is to really determine that, you know, this is a temporary situation. This is like a little game you have to play of like how to get by on a tight budget and be super healthy. But this is not forever. You know, really make a determination and promise to yourself that you're going to change the situation around soon, sooner than you even believe, you know, and the money is going to start coming in because you deserve it. You deserve a stress-free life, you deserve a healthy life, and you deserve all the abundance in the entire universe, okay? So I'm leaving you guys with that. Have a fabulous, fabulous day, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Bye!